What I want to talk about on today's call is the state of marketing, the power of focus, Facebook advertising, the best 3 sales questions, video marketing, the importance of faces.
This call is being recorded.
Today's call is a new pitch for new leads. We had the small business event here in Orlando, and what I learned from watching that experience was that if you're going to change the kind of leads that you work with, you have to change your pitch and your strategies. You can't just pivot. It has to be a wholesale change. Now, there's some things that'll stay the same. But think about it, guys. For the last few years, we have been working with agents. And now we're about to start working with athletes. We're about to start working with architects. Think about if you're a real estate agent, and let's say you've been selling homes for 20 years. And the average age of the homes that you've been, dealing with people is over 40. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, the government puts out this tax credit and it floods the market with first-time buyers. It flooded the market with millennials. Think about the foreclosure bust, right? The housing market collapsed. And now all of a sudden, the new kind of a lead was a foreclosure lead. So when you're, even if you're a realtor, if you're used to dealing with regular leads, quote unquote, and then you get foreclosure leads or luxury leads or rental leads, or you start getting millennials because there's some kind of tax credit, when you get new leads, you need a new pitch. At the same time, the structure of your pitch will not change. The structure of the conversion code sale is not going to change. You're still going to do your pre-call stalk. You're still going to have a perfect first minute, dig deep, uncover objections, feature benefit tie down. So the structure of your pitch will not change. I've sold mortgages, software, vacations, shoes, the structure of our pitch is not going to change. The 2 things that will change, though, are very important to think about. A, the questions you ask when you qualify and build rapport. Those will definitely change. The other thing that will change are the examples that you use when you do your pitch and your demo. So the structure will change the same. But the questions you ask when working with new leads have to be new. And the examples you use when you're working with new leads have to be new. So as an example, like when we talk to people now, we would say like, hey, so tell me, how many listings do you have? Like asking people how many listings they have is a way of qualifying if they're a good fit. It's a way of digging deep and getting to know them. How many homes did you sell in the last year? But if you ask that to somebody that's a chiropractor, he's going to look at you funny. So what we've got to start to identify is what is the equivalent of that? What is the equivalent of how many listings do you have? What is the equivalent of how many homes did you sell, right? Think about this, guys. You're not going to always have an exact example. Like I was talking to a chiropractor the other day, and he said, hey, man, I'm a little nervous. You guys have never worked with chiropractors before. And I said, well, I can appreciate that, but you don't know anything about Facebook ads. He's like, well, that's true. But the idea there is like, isn't a chiropractor fitness and health? Don't we actually have a gym and a yoga studio already using Curaytor? So while we have these new leads, the examples we use for them, they might not be exactly the same like it is now. Like, oh, you're a top producing realtor? We work with hundreds of those. You need to think about what I call a lookalike lead, right? Like a chiropractor is kind of like a gym, is kind of like a yoga studio. I had a guy at the small business event. He came up to me. He said, hey, Chris, I love everything I'm learning, but I do B2B. I'm in B2B. I'm not in B2C. I don't sell stuff to consumers the way your clients do. Realtors sell to consumers. And I'm just not sure if Curaytor's going to work for me because I'm B2B. You know what I told him? I looked him in the face. I said, sir, we're B2B. We're B2B. We're a business selling to businesses. So can Curaytor work for B2B? I don't know. It got us to 15 million in recurring revenue pretty fast. Where's your revenue at, sir? Like, think about that. B2B, we are B2B. If you're going to work with a startup, that, let's say you work with a startup that does some crazy kind of thing. Well, Curaytor is a startup. And the other thing is like, think about a car dealer. I was thinking about this, like a car dealer, because I think car dealerships are going to be perfect Curaytor clients. Like, while we may not have a long list of car dealerships we work with today, we actually do work with a company called homes.com on our data. And one of the things that's the same about home and cars is that there's live data feeds. The inventory changes all the time. You need a lot of pictures. You have a car that was just listed. You have a car that was just sold. By the way, when you sell a car or a house, you make a lot of money. So while car dealers may be different than real estate agents, there are a lot of similarities, and we've got to connect those dots for people. The other thing is you have to pitch what always worked. So like, as an example, having an amazing website with pages that get you hired is going to be a universal pitch, whether you are a doctor, a lawyer, or a realtor. Another example would be like, most of the people that we talk to that own successful businesses actually don't love tech. So like, would you rather Curaytor does it for you? Of course that's going to be relevant, even though we're changing the kind of leads that we're dealing with. So your new leads need a new pitch, but you definitely don't want to lose your stuff that works for all. Like, do you hate technology, sir? I was looking at your website and it seems like it could be a lot better. You know, the pre-call stalk, right? Like, hey, I looked you up online before our call and I was looking at your Facebook page and I noticed that a lot of the posts didn't have any engagement. Like, that's not going to change because we work with a different kind of lead. Think about this, guys. Think about some of the technologies we recommend. Think about Likealizer. Think about Grade My Ads. Those are technologies that grade business pages and ads that are relevant to any industry. So we really have tried, especially with the conversion code, you know, the way that we teach marketing and sales is pretty universal. So the way that we pitch it needs to be as well. Like, do you think that if we got 100 small business owners in a row on the phone, regardless of their industry, if we said, hey, do you need a little millennial in your life? Like, would it help your business if a 24-year-old blogged and ran your Facebook page and did your email marketing for you? That pitch is not going to change. You're going to get 99 out of 100 yeses. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, is when you have a new pitch for new leads, the key is that you need to understand that this pitch is only new to you. This is a choice. You can pitch this like you've been pitching it for years, or you can struggle through this change. You can either control this change and not miss a beat, or you can let your old habits die hard and you can take longer to ramp up. That's really going to be something where you might want to choose wisely. So as far as the action items, number one is just mindset. Oh, yeah, we actually haven't worked with a lot of chiropractors, but we've worked with a lot of people like this. And one thing I know for sure is that you're not as good at what we do as you are. Actually, what makes us so special is that we're good with pixels and you're good with people. Here's the action items. We need new scripts and new questions because we have new leads. We need to do new role playing because we have new leads. We need to pull new chorus recordings. Sarah, I want you to make it a priority to start pulling clips from the pitches to non-realtors. We also need new terms because we have new leads. And I'm going to make sure that for the beginning of the small business initiative, the prices are lower. The contracts are more lenient. The launch happens a lot faster. And then the other thing we have to do as we start to get traction with SMB, as we bring on Eric Thomas, as we bring on the Jim in New Hampshire that's killing it, as we bring on my friend that's a lawyer that's growing his business, we've got to work together as a team to identify the new shining examples of success with Curaytor. So who's the new Judy? You know what I mean? Who's the new Joe? Who's the new Lisa? Like, we have been so accustomed to using examples from within our community that as we have new leads and we have a new pitch and we bring on new clients, we have to also identify the new examples of success with our system. We've got a new lead type. We need a new and better pitch. Thank you for your time, guys. Hey, this is Chris. Thanks for listening to my call. If you enjoyed the call, please subscribe right now. Also, share the episode and use the hashtag #CallsWithChris. Every week, I choose a few people randomly to win a free signed copy of the conversion code, my USA Today best-selling book. You can also visit Curaytor.com. That's Curaytor.com to learn more about my company, which is the one I'm running during these calls. We help small businesses grow faster, and we've been featured recently by Inc., Forbes, Fortune, and Entrepreneur Magazine.